Alright, and welcome to today's chart review. Today is a good day. If you know, you know. Today's a good day. April 11th is always a good day. April 11th, if you know, you know. But basically, today we actually had we had good action in the morning, and I'm going to discuss on what my view was on this. And if you're in the Discord right now, you want to discuss what you viewed in the market, I encourage you, but I'm not going to force you. But anyways, what happened today? What happened today? So we look at NQ. We had PPI this morning. That's what this candle was, and this was the manipulation. As you can see, yesterday we did not have good action at all, and we are just within this range. The whole day yesterday, we are just playing within this range, So we really aren't going to move anywhere until either this high or low is taken. Right now it's just accumulation. If I'm just looking at this, I'm looking at accumulation and then possible manipulation at the highs or possible manipulation at the lows to then distribute to the highs. As you guys know, or you guys might not know, but yesterday I just wanted us to rebalance to equilibrium. I was looking for us to rebalance to equilibrium. That's what I was looking for. If you draw the high and low of this range, we're going to get equilibrium. We end up doing that around market open. So we end up coming back to equilibrium. So that's kind of what I was looking for. So I'm going to draw up my fib because this is also another manipulation move. So this week we had CPI and PPI. We were manipulating at the highs here, and now we're manipulating at the lows here to then, like, this is a manipulation move at the highs to then rally to the lows. This one is a manipulation move at the lows to then rally to the highs. And I honestly don't like this move. I don't like this move, and we'll go over why later, but I just really don't like this move at all. I really don't like this move. So we were manipulated at the lows. We have an SMT here. So price does not need to go lower because we have an SMT. If we look out on the hourly, and if we didn't have this SMT, I would expect all of these lows to be the draw. Look at all of these lows. This is just very clean. We know that there's a lot of sell side resting here, but the fact that we have an SMT means that we don't really need to head lower. So in the morning, I had like a daily bias video I posted on Instagram. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. But I was expecting us to actually, I want to see equilibrium, then I want to see a sell lower. But after looking at this while I was on live, I'm like, we really don't need to go lower. We just had a manipulation move at the lows. We have an SMT at the lows. If we pull up ES, what I'm really talking about is that, like, ES has already taken all these lows. If we look at this on ES, this is just a higher time frame turtle soup here. So like price does not really need to go lower. And we come up, we have CPI, we create an imbalance. And now we have taken a high here. If we look at ES at the time, ES hasn't taken this high. So we have an SMT at the lows and the SMT at the highs. Anytime we have an SMT at the lows and an SMT at the highs, I'm just going to wait because I know that conditions aren't really favorable right now. Like, we can do either or. Like, if I'm in a trade, I want to be in a trade that's one-sided. I want to be in a trade that I'm like, I have 100% conviction and confidence that we're just going to run here. But when we have an SMT at the lows and an SMT at the highs, like, I personally, when I see that, I just don't know what price is going to do. I don't have an educated guess of what price is going to do. So at the open, like, I am very patient. Like, we open up around here, and I'm just patient. I am very patient here. I'm patient. I'm just waiting. I'm looking. Like, oh, there could be a possible short here. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'm looking for maybe us possibly go long here. I want to see ES probably come up and take this high and then come back down to these lows. Granted, NQ at the time is in equilibrium of this price range. So my bias at the open is I kind of want to see ES come up and take this high, and then I want to see us kind of sell off to these lows. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I wanted to see. But nothing was clear at the open, and then things started to be clear. Look at this right here. This is classic market maker buy model example. If you're looking for a market maker buy model, this is what you're looking for. in a market maker buy model, we have an original consolidation to then we trade away from that original consolidation to where we bounce off of a higher time frame PD array. Well, where am I? Higher time frame PD array. Notice what we do. We bounce off this 15-minute fair value gap. The thing that I think makes this trade so good is this original consolidation in all these stacked highs. Look at all these stacked highs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 stacked highs here. We also have buy side resting above here. ES, the draw on ES is higher. Like, we're in equilibrium. I am not bearish here. And I'm looking at this, and this, to me, like, so if I'm bearish, I would look for us to probably target this low. But the reason why I'm not looking for us to target that low is because this low is the manipulation leg. If there's a manipulation move like this and a big move to the upside, we're probably going to retrace just some sort into like a 15-minute fair value gap, 1 hour fair value gap if we have it, and then head higher. And that's exactly what we did. So I know right here at this point in time that we are more likely going to head to these stacked highs over, like, in a game of probabilities, we are more likely to head to these highs than to this low, because this low is a manipulation low. There's not really any sort of like generated sell side here. It doesn't look clean. We're also within a 15-minute fair value gap. We are also within equilibrium of this range. Look at where we bounce. Look at where we bounce. Equilibrium of this range. If I pull up ES at the time, we have highs up here that I think is probably, is the draw. Now that I think, now we can look back and say, yeah, this high was the draw. We also have a reason to go higher. 2, equilibrium of this range. We have just hunted liquidity here. So why does the market move? To rebalance equilibrium, to rebalance to an inefficiency, and to rebalance to, hunt liquidity, rebalance to equilibrium, rebalance to an inefficiency. Sorry, I was trying to make it way more complicated. But right here, this is equilibrium. I'm looking for the draw to be here. This also is a 1 hour fair value gap. This also is a 4 hour fair value gap. So price is going to go higher to hunt liquidity, to rebalance to equilibrium, and to rebalance to an inefficiency. This is a 4 hour fair value gap. That's where we are likely going to see and anticipate price to head towards. And that is exactly what happened. If we pull up ES at the time, this range here is OTE of this range. It's not perfect, but we also are stopping at OTE of this range. And on ES here, there could possibly be a short setup here. But I really don't see anything that's high quality. I don't see that anything's high quality. We just had this big move up. I mean, I guess you could probably play something to short here to target equilibrium, but I really don't like anything. The only thing I could see is, like, even here, it's just not clear. It's not clean. The only thing I could say is maybe this order block here. Maybe this order block here to equilibrium. But even then, like, market pretty much just opened. I don't love anything. Like, it just wasn't clear. So why take it if it's not clear? This is not a high quality setup. You should be avoiding setups like this. I mean, you could make money doing these, but the goal is to not make money. The goal is to build conviction and to find things that repeat. Like, I can't really say that things like this repeat, but things like this, these are everywhere. These are everywhere. So we have this original consolidation. We trade away from this original consolidation. We are leaving generated liquidity on the way down. I mean, it isn't the cleanest, but how you can see if it's generated liquidity is if you can draw a trend line like this and it matches. I mean, it's not the most perfect thing in the world, but granted, market maker buy models aren't going to always look the perfect, like as perfect. So right here is then when we come back into equilibrium, we're out in this 15-minute fair value gap, and I am looking right when we have this big candle lower, and then we start to stall here. We start to have a candle like this, and then another one, with the context that we are bouncing off of a 15-minute time frame, with also the added context that we are within equilibrium of this range. This, to me, my eyes instantly go here, and I target here. I ended up taking this trade. I went over it more in Road to Funded, but this is kind of just seeing what price did. Okay, so now we displace higher, and this is then when we get a fair value gap. This light bulb, the reason why I like this fair value gap a lot more, and also the reason why I like this order block a lot more is because we create a fair value gap. And the reason why I like this fair value gap a lot more is because we have this order block here. Look at where price found support here. Look at where we found support here. This fair value gap and this order block, perfectly respected. Go higher. I am not worried about this. I am not worried about this. Like, you could try to play this as an inverse. Like, we kind of poke above here. I guess we do kind of close above it barely. And then drop down. And I guess we do use it as inverse. But ideally, if it's an inverse, I would like to see it a little bit more clean. Like something like this. But I'm not worried about this fair value gap because of the model. This looks very clean. Because of the context, this fair value gap does not matter. So we come back. We kind of use this as inverse as well. We use this fair value gap and this order block. This is where I enter. This is where I immediately entered. If you guys don't believe me, I streamed it. So I entered here. Stop at the low. I'm fine with this risk. You could put your stop at this low for a little bit better risk, but I put my stop at this low just to let this model play out because I believe that this model is clear. This would have been a good entry. This probably would have been the best entry offered on that order block fair value gap. An entry here, I don't hate off this fair value gap, but I think that it's just not the highest. If we draw on the fib from high to low, I don't hate. Yeah, a fair value gap here isn't bad. We are in discount still of this range. Like if you take a fair value gap here, cool. Like this is fine too. I would like an add here or like adding to your position here wouldn't be bad as well. You have good risk here. Stop at this low. You trust the model. Have faith in the model. And look at order flow here. Look at order flow. When I mean order flow, when anyone says order flow, that's pretty much just talking about the bullish candles and like how we are respecting these bullish candles. Look. We come back fair value gap, respect it. Now we have an order block here. Look at what we do. We perfectly respect this order block. Now we come up. We're still respecting bullish order flow here. And now we're coming up. And here we come back down. We take these lows. This would have been the soup entry here. I would have liked this entry as well. This would have been a decent add. We come back down, take internal liquidity here to target that external high here. We also have buy side resting up here. So if you were to target this high, I feel like that could have been good as well. But I just targeted this high. I was just taking when I was confident. I was just taking this original consolidation. But targeting this high is also cool as well. And look at what ends up happening. We end up running to this high. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful price action here. Beautiful price action. Beautiful. Beautiful. At the time, after that plays out, I'm just waiting. Like I don't think there's any reason to force a trade or to look to really even take a trade after this. Like I think the draw on ES is this high here. We also have this high here. We also have equilibrium of this range. We also have that 4-hour fair value gap I was talking about. The only other thing that I really could have seen is maybe this. We have a 5-minute fair value gap we're in. And this is that turtle soup. Turtle soups are the most oh yeah, let me also talk about this entry, this soup entry of why I like it as well. This soup entry I like personally only because of this order block here. The only time, at least me personally, I'm looking to take turtle soups if we're in like a PD array such as an order block. Usually it's like a fair value gap. So like if we're in a 5-minute fair value gap. So if we have a 5-minute fair value gap and then we do something like this to where we barely pierce this fair value gap. What I've been noticing recently is that most of the time we'll come back up and we'll actually take this high before then running lower. Because a lot of people have their stops trailed at this high or they get fearful, they get greedy because there's always going to be greedy people in the market. There's always going to be those greedy goblins that want the best entry, that want to make the most money, that come in here and look to make money. We are not those type of people. We are here to build habits and to actually become successful traders. Like I don't care about making money today. I don't care. I care about, hey, did I follow my rules? Did I follow my game plan? Did I do everything I said I was gonna do? Or was that what? Did I act in fear today? Was I just trying to make money? Because like making money, like this is not what this is about. I could care less how much money you make. You could care less how much money I make. How much money I make does not affect you. How much money you make does not affect me at all. It doesn't even matter about the money. There's been times I showed up to the market, bro, and I've been trying to make money. I try to make money. I try to make $100. I try to make $200. I try to make $300. Bro, what do you think happened over time? I ended up losing because I was focusing on the money, bro. The money does not matter within this game. The money does not. Because as soon as you think that you made money, oh, brother, I just made $1,000. Guess what? That money might not even be yours because you're making that money in a bad way. You're over leveraging. You're over risking. You're taking that. You're hoping. You're adding to your position just because you want to add to your position. Like sometimes making money in the market is not good because the market will take that money back from you and more if you let it. But if you risk yourself accordingly, if you stay and you have proper risk management, if you guys look in the Discord, I posted like something. I just posted like something that said risk management, risk management, risk management. You guys look. What I was kind of going with that is, so I took 2 losses. I took 2 losses on Wednesday or something. I took 2 losses on Tuesday. And then today I took 1 win that erased those 2 losses and I made more. That is risk management. That is what you should be doing. That should be your game plan. All right. So basically what I was kind of going with that little turtle soup example is the fact that we kind of just poked within this 5-minute fair value gap right here. And then most of the time we'll come back down, we'll pierce that low, and then we'll end up heading up to external buy side. So this was really the only other trade that I could really even get behind. Other than that, nothing else was really clear. I was live and I'm like, hey, I got my trade, that's all I need. I got my trade, that's all I need. Like there's been times I've been in the market and I've been like, hey, I took a trade. Let's see what else the market offers. I'm not saying it's not bad to take more than 1 trade, but like when you get a good trade, when you take an A+ setup, when you take a setup that you had confidence in, sometimes it's just best to just get on with your day. Like I don't even care what the market did after this. I don't even care what the market did after this because I know if I just get this, if I look to get this, that's all I need. I'm happy with this. Like I don't need anything more than that because I know if I just come to the market and I get setups like this, and even if I take this once a week or once a week might be a little bit extreme, but you guys get what I'm saying. If I take this like twice a week, I'd much rather take high quality setups twice a week than look and try to force it to just try to make money. Just to try to make money. Just try to get a buck, you know? And then after this, okay, I'm not going to lie. I did not expect this. And nor do I really want it. I did not want this. But this is bullish, y'all. We have this 1 hour imbalance, and I'm looking, hey, are we possibly gonna bounce? Are we possibly gonna reject here? I'm just looking. I just want to see a reaction to the downside. I just want to see displacement to the downside. Throughout this move, we just pump. Here, I was looking for a possible short, and then we just pump. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get off. I got my pieces of pie today. I'm not really looking for anything. So we just end up just pumping the rest of the day. There's really not much else to cover. This is a trending market, bro. This is just a trend. This is a trend day. This is what you call a trend day. And the times like this, like when I could like come in here and like maybe look to short this, that's the times when I'm just gonna get messed up. Like these are the times when you're just going to lose money and also lose your conviction when you just try to like look for a short that's not there. Like I was looking for a possible short here. I even in my live stream was like, hey, a short doesn't look bad here. Like, bro, yes it does. There's no real displacement through a low. If I just zoom out to the 5-minute, if I just zoom out even to the 5-minute, what is this? This is just an order block. What is this? This is just an order block. Like, these are just, there's nothing. Had we have gotten, like, displacement through a low, we could have seen lower prices, but we never got that. We just kept on going higher. And at the end of the day, I'll pull this up on SMES. I really don't like anything. I mean, the only thing that would maybe be appealing here is you see how they have a daily candle. Usually most of the time, like if we look at all these daily candles where we're just like at most time we're not going to close at that close. Does that make sense? We're not going to close at the high of the day. That's yeah. We're most of the time we're gonna put in a wick. Like look, maybe we're up here and then we create a wick. Maybe we're bullish, we create a small wick here. Maybe we're bullish, we create a wick. We create a wick. Even when we're bearish, like most of the time we don't close at the low day. Like that's why we have wicks. So the only trade that makes sense in like even to trade it, I want it like it's not high quality, so why even take it in the first place? But the only other thing I would really even like is this soup. Even then, it just doesn't look clear to rebalance price equilibrium. Even then, like, I guess, like, this is all hindsight. Don't look to trade this. Like, don't. I mean, maybe if you have a strategy and system that works for you, but I would just say do not trade this. Just avoid it. Don't even look to trade it. Because say you just try to short here to the short, you don't have much conviction. Like there's no reason to really touch it. The only thing that I could possibly like here is this. The run on this buy stops here to then displace lower, but there's not really a clear entry here. There's not really like this is not good price action. I wouldn't even recommend looking at this. All right, I'm going to go on my bias. We're going to go on to the bias going into tomorrow. Okay. So this is actually interesting. This week has been interesting. Or this past from last Thursday to today has been quite an event. We had a huge dump, and then we pumped, and then we chop, and then we manipulate, then we dump, then we chop. Then we pump, then we dump, and then we manipulate, and then we pump. So like everything that we did here, look at this. We dump, and then we pump, and then we chop, manipulate, and then go lower. Okay, we manipulate, go lower. We chop, manipulate, and then go higher. Like we have just inverse this range. So everything that we were doing here, everything that we do here, we pretty much just did the opposite. Everything that we did here, like this doesn't look appealing. Like if I look at this on the 4 hour, I don't really know. I couldn't really tell you what this is at all. So the draw for me, okay. The draw for me now is probably these highs. It all depends on what we do in the overnight session. Okay. So say we start to reject here. And then we open like within this range. I'm going to be it all depends. But it all depends on what we do. But we're at a point in time to where if we pull up ES is kind of what I've been basing my bias off of for most of this whole move. But if we look at ES on the 4 hour, this is kind of where I've got my bias. This looks like clear sell side of the curve. If we look at from this high to the low, where could we possibly be retracing to? I would say OTE of this range. Let's see. Are we within OTE? Okay. Right now, we are getting a retracement into OTE. This very well on ES could just be a retracement into this breaker and into this fair value gap. If we break above this, we're going to run on new highs. But if we stay within this area, if we respect this area, then we'll possibly continue sell side of this curve. But tomorrow, I'm expecting a little bit slower action, a little bit choppier action, a little more indecisive action. It all depends on what the overnight does. I'm very curious to see mean threshold of this breaker. So if I pull up mean threshold of this breaker, actually let me put, I'll just do the body. The mean threshold is the most sensitive part of this breaker. A breaker is just a low, high, lower, low. That's exactly what this is. We're now within that 4 hour breaker, and we are respecting the mean threshold of this breaker perfectly. Ideally, if I'm bearish, I would like to see us close below mean threshold of this candle, of this body candle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if we are bearish, we should respect mean threshold of that breaker. So I want to see us possibly reject this if we are bearish, which I think that we are. We have retraced back into OTE of this range, but we just got a huge pump. So nothing looks for sure. It looks a little bit gray to me. So we've now taken a high on NQ. So what does that mean? We now have an SMT at the highs. ES isn't close to taking this high. NQ has taken this high. So now we have an SMT at the highs. We don't necessarily need to come back up to this generated buy side because we have an SMT at the highs here. Like, it's just SMT high, SMT low. Like, it doesn't look clean. It's not the cleanest. But this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm seeing, are we going to hold this 4 hour? If we hold this 4 hour mean threshold of this breaker, if we hold this 4 hour imbalance, I could see us. I would be kind of bearish, looking for sell side of this curve. Like, this is possibly just a retracement on ES, but on NQ, we've come back up. We have taken a high. If we start to displace higher, that tells me that the draw is this high and this high and this, like all these generated highs. But we don't necessarily have to go to these highs. So that's kind of just what I'm looking for. So I have a very loose bias right now. The market's not telling me for sure what it wants to do yet. The market doesn't tell me what it for sure wants to do yet. So therefore, I'm going to be a little bit more picky when it comes to taking a trade. When it comes to formulating my bias. Like, anything I say, the market has to show me what it wants to do. I do want to start like bringing up like examples. I'm going to show this to y'all because I thought this was pretty clean on gold today. I think this was like London setup, but I really want to go over this today. Like, from now on, I've gone to make it like an everyday example to where I kind of bring on like a market maker buy or market maker sell model from like a Forex pair or like from maybe another indice, just so like we can, or at least me personally, I can train my eye to see this a lot more. So this on gold actually does look pretty good. So on gold, we've been bullish. I don't ever really look at gold. I wouldn't recommend you look at gold, but this is just an example of price action. Like, I would just stick to NQ and ES personally, but this is just price action playing out for you. This is what you want to see if you're trading price action. So if you look here, sell side got taken. I don't love this sweep because it's like a bit like we tick this low. Like, let's look at the low of this candle. The low is, I can't really see that very well. The low is 2325.74. 2325.74. Low here is 2325.910. So we barely take that low by a couple pips or whatever you want to call it. They're called pips and Forex. And then we get displacement higher. I'm not really looking to long here at all. Like, this doesn't look favorable for longs here. We have all of this generated buy side here. Look at this. All of this low resistance liquidity. All of this generated buy side here. So we come up. And then we retrace back into equilibrium of this range. Here, I'm gonna delete all these. This is kind of just what I was looking at. So we come back into equilibrium of this price leg. Let me delete so it's not like you just see the candles here. Come back into equilibrium of this price leg. And we come back into this 15-minute fair value gap right here. Also, what else do we have here? We have a 5-minute inverse fair value gap here, which also is this 15-minute order block here. So we have several PD arrays lining up as support here. And that's ideally what you want to see. You want to have multiple PD arrays. You want to have multiple confluences, whatever you want to call it. You want to have multiple things that can support your trade. So we come back into equilibrium, into 15-minute fair value gap, into that 5-minute inverse fair value gap, which also is that 15-minute order block. And then that would be your entry. You might not enter right there. You might wait for a little bit of displacement. Cool. Enter there. And then we get bought up again. To retrace back into equilibrium of this price leg to rebalance to the breaker. A bullish breaker is a high, low, a high, and then we have a low, and then a higher high. ideally, you want to see the breaker get displaced through to show that it's a true breaker. That's when you're going to get your unicorn setup. So this is your unicorn entry, which is a breaker block paired with a fair value gap. And look at how well we respect that. And then we get bought up straight to this high, completing buy side of this curve. So right here, you have sell side of the curve, which I wouldn't prefer just because overall gold has been very bullish recently. And then you have buy side of the curve being offered here. This is a clean market maker buy model. I posted this in the Discord chat. I wouldn't dive in too much into price action like this on like different pairs. I would stick to NQ and ES, but I want to maybe bring up like examples every day of like price action on like different pairs or just like good price action in general. Yo, any trades? I did take one trade today. I took that long here. That's all I took. Hello from Italy. Hey, good to hear. Hello. How you doing, bro? You look happy, brother. God bless you. Yeah, always happy, bro. Always living the dream. Always living the life. Yeah, that's what I always wait for the. Yeah. All right. Hey, I'm trying to learn more about trading and came across your content on Instagram. Where did you learn to trade? Justin Werling on Justin Werling on YouTube, and then ICT on YouTube. Those are kind of my two mentors that I've really stuck with. And like honestly, like y'all know that like you're going to improve the most, you're going to grow the most like when you actually get in front of the charts and you actually describe what price is doing. The reason why I even do these sessions in the first place is for me to talk out loud to myself in front of a camera saying exactly what price did. If you guys look in the Discord, y'all, I post price action reviews, PA reviews of what price did, and then I go over it again, and then I talk about what price action did, and then I talk about what I could have done better. So, like, you're going to learn the most when you actually set the time to improve yourself. Like, there's only so much YouTube can teach you if you're not actually going to take the time and effort into growing yourself, because YouTube isn't gonna solve all your problems, whether that be like self-motivation videos, whether it be anything you watch on YouTube. YouTube is not gonna solve all your problems. I do like YouTube though. I do mess with YouTube because you can get a lot of information, but just because you watch a few YouTube videos here does not mean you're gonna come into the markets and master it. Anything y'all want to point out to me? Anything y'all want to point out to me on the Discord? I like I always say, I would appreciate, or I would encourage you guys to come on here and just talk about what you thought about price action 2. Like what you thought about price action 2. We're gonna look at DXY real quick. And DXY is also looking like DXY is looking very bullish. We have this huge bullish daily fair value gap. Okay, we have now taken buy side here. The draw on liquidity for me is this high all the way up here. So that means that I would be bearish on ES and NQ because DXY is going to move inversely. Not all the time, but it should move inversely to NQ and ES. So now we have this order block here. We have this order block here on DXY. We have come back down into OTE of this price leg. I would start to be a little bit bullish, but just know that we do have room for retracement on DXY. Like we have this whole fair value gap here that we can fine tune it, or we can't fine tune it, but that we can come back into. So just know that we can retrace here, which would mean that we would probably be looking to be bullish on NQ and ES. But if this order block doesn't hold, I would expect us to retrace. If this order block right here, an order block paired with the fair value gap, if this area doesn't hold here, I would expect us to retrace back into this fair value gap. But if we do hold this, I would expect to be bearish on NQ and ES, and I would expect lower prices. So I do want to see how we open up tomorrow, and I'm going to let the market show me what it wants to do. Shows me what it wants to do. Like I'm not gonna be eager to jump in anything. I'm gonna let the market show me what it wants to do. Thanks, brother. I'm always looking to learn to change my situation. So I totally agree. Like I'm always gonna be a student, bro. I'm always gonna be looking to learn. 100%. 100%. I'm always going to be looking to grow. Granted, guys, I will make mistakes. I will come on here. I will make mistakes. I will say things that I probably shouldn't be saying. Okay, I'm going to mess up. You're going to mess up. Cool. We're all going to mess up. We're all going to lose. Like, I'm going to come on here. I'm going to take losses. I'm going to take L's. I'm going to take losses. And I have. I've come on here. I've taken my losses, and I've accepted them. I've accepted them. Like, how are you going to grow if you're not able to accept your loss? How are you going to grow as a person if you're not going to accept the flaws that you have? How am I even going to get fit if I don't even recognize that I'm fat? How am I going to become wiser if I don't recognize the areas in which I lack information and the areas in which I want to grow? Like, you're never going to grow as a person, as a trader, if you don't recognize, like, what you can grow on. That's why journaling is so important. Seeing what you could do better in the future. Like, there's always going to be something I can improve on. Always. Always. I can always do something better. Always. Always. So, anytime you think that you're doing the greatest, you think that, oh, I took a trade today, I took a win. Bro, there's always something that you could probably do a little bit better. Like, I took a fantastic trade today. There's something that I could have done a little bit better. I was kind of trying to rush the entry. I didn't want to miss out on the setup because I thought it was really good. But I should have just waited for the entry. That's what I should have done. Like, there's always going to be areas in your life that you can improve on. There's always going to be someone that's doing better than you. There's always going to be someone that's doing worse than you. It's your journey. It's your situation. Focus on yourself. Anyways, that's all I really have for today's chart review. I really enjoy doing this. I love doing this. This is my passion. This is my purpose. I love doing this. I will never stop doing this. Keep in mind, I will never stop doing this. I would encourage you guys to come to the live trading session. My live trading sessions have been amazing recently. I appreciate the love and support from each and every one of you guys. And I actually, like, appreciate you guys for even listening to me, even giving me your attention and your time. Because I know that your time and your energy is important. So I appreciate you guys. I can't stress it enough. Like, I really do appreciate you guys. What time is your live trading session? I usually go live around market open. I'm going to start going like maybe 10 minutes before market open is probably when I'll start. But it's usually around market open, so 9:30 Eastern time. So I would say like 9:25 Eastern time. I'm usually live every day. Look at my channel. I'm live every single day. Live for every session. Like, we really have good live streams. They continue to get better. I continue to get better. I continue to get better at this. But I also have so many areas in which I want to improve. Like, I am a unfinished product. I will always be unfinished product. Always. So I always got room to improve. Do you trade YM? I do not trade YM. I do not like YM. YM, honestly, like, some people use SMT with YM. Actually, yeah, let's look at YM. I just don't. I've never have, and I've never traded YM. So honestly, I don't know why I'm dissing on it, but I just don't think I need to. If you look at YM though, this is also could be another, like, NQ looking like we could be bullish, but the fact that NQ looks a little bit bullish here makes me a lot better to validate a short here, because this is going to entice a lot of traders, especially ICT traders, the fact that we want to run to these highs. But we don't necessarily have to run to these highs. Granted, we can run to these highs, but we don't have to, because if we look at ES, this looks bearish. We came back into OTE. We have this 4-hour breaker. We have this 4-hour fair value gap. I would like to see mean threshold of this breaker block hold. That's what I want to see. Look at YM. This is clearly bearish. If you look at YM, where could I possibly look? Excuse me, sorry. I want to see maybe one of these highs get manipulated. I want to see maybe one of these highs come up, take this high, and then dump lower. Like I was saying, anytime we have a high that we poke into an imbalance, we'll probably come back in, take that high, and then immediately dump. That is your turtle soup. So that's what I'm looking for. The draw is clearly lower. Like, this is clearly bearish order flow. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on YM. But I never really look at YM like that. Okay. All right. Enough of me yapping. I appreciate you guys. I always post these on YouTube if you want to rewatch them, or if you missed it. I always post it on YouTube. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. And